Hi, it's Darnell with Whale Recipes. Today, I'm going to be cooking up some Amaranth flour chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to be using a little bit of whole wheat flour in there as well to help things hold together, but it'll be mostly Amaranth flour. And this will help to basically have a cookie with less flour in it, be lower on the glycemic index, more healthful for your body. And I'm going to be using the Gourmia 8-quart digital air fryer oven for that. It's a basket air fryer, and so I'll be using my method for baking in a basket air fryer. It works out pretty well, and so we'll see how things cook up. So let's get cooking right now. So let's go through the ingredients for this cook. I'll be going through the dry ingredients first and then the wet ingredients. I've got 1.5 cups of Amaranth flour here. This is basically Amaranth flakes I chopped up really finely in the food chopper to be more of a flour consistency. I've got 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour here. This is to help hold things together well. I'm going to be using 3/4 cup of organic chocolate chips. They're 85% cacao, but use what you prefer. I've got 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, 2 tablespoons of a granulated sweetener. I'm using a urethra monk fruit blend. Use the one of your choice. Got 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I got 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now for the wet ingredients, I've got 2 large chicken eggs. Going to be using a couple tablespoons of raw honey. And I've also got over here, it was heating up, a 1/2 cup or 8 tablespoons of organic butter that has basically been melting or melted now. I'll be using some sprayable extra light olive oil here on the 9-inch bake pan, which does fit quite nicely into the Gourmia basket air fryer there. If you've not seen the full review that I did for the Gourmia 8-quart, be sure to check that out. And so I'm going to go ahead and get the dry stuff in the dry bowl, wet stuff in the wet bowl. Alright, so I've got the wet stuff mixed up in the wet bowl, dry stuff mixed up in the dry bowl. So now I'm going to mix the wet stuff into the dry stuff to make my cookie dough. So just making sure I get all of it out there. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix it on up into some nice, Lord willing, firm cookie dough. Alright, so I've got my cookie dough all made up, and so now I'm going to basically take a spoon and spoon out probably between 10 to 12 and kind of set them here on the pan just laid out. It's 10 to 12 cookies. So I just basically take some dough, take a bit of dough, form it into a kind of a cookie shape, put it there on the pan, and the pan is kind of uneven until I get them all laid out. It's kind of wobbling a little bit, but it'll straighten out here on this little trivet I have it on. It's basically from a pressure cooker air fryer, this trivet. So I just kind of set this little rack here underneath to help get airflow, and I'll put this crisper tray on top, over top of the pan, to prevent things from overcooking on the top. That's how I do baking in a basket air fryer. It works out really well. So I'm just going to continue and finish getting some more cookies laid out here onto the pan. Alright, so I've got a dozen kind of tightly spaced in there, but they're in there. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to start warming the cooker up. So turn it on, hit bake. Going to take the cook time. I'm going to make it, I'm thinking it may need just 15 minutes, maybe 20. I think it's 15 to 20. It's going to be somewhere in there. I'm not really sure. It's going to need 15 or 20 though, but basically going to do the temperature at 350. And I'm going to do 15 and just kind of see how it goes from there with the preheat. So I'm going to hit start. Let things go ahead and preheat. Once they're done preheating, we'll get them on in. Alright, preheat's done. I was thinking I might be able to use this to help me get it in, but that's not going to work out well with the wide pan. So going to try and carefully, Lord willing, not burn myself, drop things on in there, and put the cover on top and close up, and we'll see how things go. turn that there so you can see. This, I don't even remember where I got it from, but I've used it in some other videos. But anyway, we'll let this cook and I'll bring you back. Alright, I let things go to full 15 minutes, so we'll see what's going on in here now. Let's see if I can get this basket cover off here. With a little air fry, kind of trivet air fry bottom thing off. There we go. Sorry, the arm's kind of in the way, but here's how they look. That's our finished product. I'm going to let them cool down. Okay, so things have had time to cool down a bit. Still a little warm, but cool. And you can see how things look. Now, you may feel that these are like, you know, super cooked over the top, but I'm going to try and show you a picture of, in the initial review, where I did some almond flour cookies with this cooker without using the method where I put the air fry rack over the top to block the heat. And you can see it basically does a lot more overcooking on the top when not using the method that I used in this cook here today. And so it does help a noticeable bit to do that, and makes baking a lot nicer, I guess you could say. So I'm going to try and see if I can kind of get one or two out. So here's one here. I want to show you the bottom of it. So you see the bottom of it. You see the top of it there. I'm going to get one more also. Alright. And we'll go ahead and do a taste test with one of these, but show you the top of that also. So there you go. So thank God for these cookies here. I'm going to go ahead and I'll try and taste this one. Could have used some water for sure. Okay. Like I said, could have used some water. So remember to have some water handy. But they turned out good, they taste good, and they're not burnt or anything like that. They don't taste burnt at all. But they taste good. So they turned out well. A nice way to make cookies with an alternative flour. I definitely like using the amaranth flakes, chopping them up into like a floury form for amaranth flour. I'm really enjoying using that as an alternative to flour. Just need a little something to help hold things together, so a little whole wheat flour does help. If you want to go totally gluten-free, you'll have to kind of use some other alternatives. I did show in a cook of some amaranth flour waffles how things turn out if you don't use any gluten at all. And you can check that out also here on the channel. But well over over 800, not 1800, not yet, but well over 800 videos here on this channel of all types of cooks, all types of reviews of all types of cookers. Countertop cookers, that is. But if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Nothing in this video is sponsored. In the video description are lots of ways to help the channel, such as my cookbook, merch, memberships, donations, and all of that stuff. And also, please subscribe, hit that notification icon, share the video with a friend. And with all of that said, I do wish you and yours good eating.